I love Wario, and by that, I mean I want to have a romantic relationship with him. Wait, what? No, wait, I mean, not, wait, what, not, in all seriousness, though, Wario just might be one of my favorite video game franchises from Nintendo. Possibly even of all time. I know that sounds a bit weird since it's a side series to Mario and all, but I mean it with utmost sincerity. He's given us a series of some solid platformers and just all-out craziness, especially with the WarioWare franchise. And there was also a game on the DS... we don't really talk about that one. But we're going to be talking about one game in particular in the Wario franchise today, Wario Land 4. Because, hey, it's been in my mind lately. This was one of the first Game Boy Advance games I ever owned. I remember my brother had bought it while I was at school one day in 2002, just weeks after I'd gotten my first Game Boy Advance for Christmas. And we were hooked instantly. Even today, I think this game stands out for its brilliant level design, unique gameplay mechanics, and vibrant visuals. So what is Wario Land 4 all about? Well, I'm glad you asked. Wait, nobody asked? Well, too bad. The Wario Land franchise in general, at least to me, is about flipping general 2D platformer tropes on their heads. You know how touching enemies usually makes you take damage in Mario? Well, not here. Heck, Wario can't even die in the second and third games. He can in the fourth, but that's beside the point. And whereas in other 2D platformers you usually just have to get from point A to point B, there's usually a little more to it in Wario. You see, Wario Land 4 is all about exploration and finding specific items to progress. You might see this as a bad thing if you're not especially treasure savvy when it comes to games, but hey, it fits Wario's character, so it's fine by me. Alright, let's get specific. The world of Wario Land 4 is full of these ancient ruins themed after gemstones. Ruby, Sapphire, Topaz, and Emerald. You step on frog switches to enter vortexes to themed worlds. I just said that out loud, didn't I? Anyway, the objective of each world is to collect 4 pieces of a pyramid jewel. And yes, that's what they're called. I looked it up on the wiki. I did my research. These are all located in boxes that range from being in plain sight to being pretty well hidden. And yes, you need every last one to beat the game. But you know what? I don't mind. The levels are built in such a way that it encourages you to explore, to find breakable blocks that aren't immediately obvious or hidden passageways in the walls, kinda like in Yoshi's Island. Each level also has an optional CD to find and collect. Let me tell you, they are worth it. Ever heard these jams before? Pretty great. Danny Elfman wishes his score for Batman Returns was this good. Each level also contains what's known as a keys, or basically these ghost key things, you get it? And they might be my favorite thing in the game, because they're just so freaking cute. Unlike the jewels, these guys are usually in plain sight, and it's easy to collect. That's a good thing, because, well, they're needed to access the next part of each ruin. Just look out for the Ura Crescent Moon Village. Seriously, that guy sucks. Each level also contains another frog switch within it. Step on it, and then the vortex at the beginning of the level will open back up. That means that the level you're in changes drastically, and also a time limit appears. Sometimes stepping on a switch opens up a shortcut back, which I like. Makes the levels more interesting and adds more tension to your escape. Each level after the tutorial contains a pipe that will lead you to a mini-puzzle. These are entirely optional, but overcoming these puzzles will allow you to get more money, usually in the form of a blue diamond. Basically the most expensive currency in the game. Sometimes there's this tooth guy in these sub-worlds. I'll put up his name somewhere on the screen. When I was a kid, this guy always weirded me out. Always looked like a girl or something. Also, kind of like something that Tim Burton would create. The controls are simple since it's a GBA game. Jump with A, punch with B, hold R to do a dashing attack that can break harder blocks. You can also use L if you want to do that. I just prefer R. Just feels more comfy. His controls feel fluid and responsive, though decidedly less when you have to deal with 30 frames per second when capturing game footage. Yeah. There's also bits where you can swim like a lantern.
Too bad it took them until Wario World to implement an anglerfish of any kind.
Yeah, thanks, Lantern. That was completely necessary. Anyway, the swimming controls work pretty well. You feel like you have control over Wario's movement. The gameplay mechanics don't stop there. Wario can also undergo several reactions. No, I'm not just talking about Jinx, obviously. There are certain enemies in each level that will do painful things to Wario, but these things won't make him lose any hearts. Instead, they will change his body in a way that will allow him to overcome various obstacles. He can become really fat to smash through tough blocks, become flat to pass under low ceilings, puff his cheeks up, or become a spring to reach high areas, set himself on fire to burn things up, or become a vampire batter zombie. It's all pretty cool. My only real complaint with this game is the way it handles the boss fights. Some of the fights, especially Cractus, get really tedious because of the way you attack him never changes. And you have to wait a long time in between every hit. It sucks and I hate him. Before every boss fight, you're also allowed to exchange some of the money you made during levels to enter yourself into some minigames. And these minigames can be fun. There's a batting game, pretty much hit the baseball out of the park. There's a game where you ride on a wheel and have to jump over obstacles using the A button. And there's a game where you have to put together Wario's face. I know, it's a very serious issue, waking up and having no face. I once had to go to the barber to get my face back. It was awful. Getting certain scores in these games will allow you to get medals, and these medals can be exchanged for weapons that can be used at the beginning of the boss fights to make them a little easier. I rarely use these myself, but they are helpful if you need them. Just use them or don't. Really doesn't make a difference to me how you enjoy the game. All in all, this is a really fun game that I would recommend to pretty much anyone who likes Mario or 2D platformers in general. Even though this game is for the Game Boy Advance, it's currently on the Wii U eShop for $10. Plus, if you were a 3DS ambassador, you should have that on your 3DS, or at least have access to it. Play it. It's a lot of fun. Has a lot of replay value, it's very short. Definitely try it on both normal and hard. Wario Land 4 is one of my favorite Game Boy Advance games of all time. I urge you to give it a try. Won't be disappointed. Maybe.